Hi, so I'm just doing a quick video on mods for my X-Maxx that I've done. I just want to point out that I haven't cleaned my car. I know I haven't cleaned it. No intentions to clean it because at the moment the weather's really bad here and it's just constantly going through mud all the time. I'll explain why it's so covered in mud in a second, but let's just get to my mods first. So let's move it a bit. Right, so mods to the car. Most obvious one straight off the bat is these straps. You may wonder why I've done them. They could be a little bit tighter, but you may be wondering why I've done them. Main reason is Gens Ace do not fit in with these brackets. They just do not fit. Obviously I can take these black bits off, but it's for my 3S, that's why they were on there. Yeah, so I now no longer use the clips to hold my batteries in. I still need to add in here foam just to help stop the battery from sliding around. If you have little things like that. My straps, I was going to opt for smaller ones. These are 330mm long straps that I've got in here. These. It is a good mod, especially if you want to use big batteries, because at least they fit. Next mod is, let's start with the wheels. So my wheels, Badlands tyres, MX-43 they were. I must admit these tyres aren't bad, but what they tend to do, imagine a crosser. So a crosser's tyres, knobblies, normally dig in the mud and it throws it everywhere. Hence why my car is covered. If you have these and you run in the mud for, I would say maybe 5-10 minutes, it's going to look like this. No matter how clean you got it, these Pro lines will ruin how clean, it just ruin the aesthetics. One of the bad sides to these tyres, due to all of this, is it knackers your bearings. So I don't know if you've noticed in some of my videos, I've had really squeaky bearings. Never had that problem before with the original tyres. Now a problem with these. And they get re-greased regularly. So definitely these tyres, they can be used in the wet. They're better than the X-Maxx tyres in the wet, especially on mud. But there's also a downside of it covering everything in the car. So it's always worse at the back than it is the front. Front's not too, it's still bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as the back. So that's the second thing. So mod with the batteries and my tyres. The next thing I've got, you're probably not going to be able to see them very well because they're absolutely covered. I've got, is it RPM? Yeah, RPM hubs with bearings. They're in there. The original ones do not hold up at all to water. As soon as a splash of water happens, they're dried out. Just even a lick of water, and you keep driving them on dried out bearings, even a couple of times, you're going to end up locking them up, destroying the hub, or locking wheels, shredding gears. So yeah, I opted for the RPM hubs and bearings. Next mod, shock tower covers. These are a lifesaver. My shocks are in respectable condition considering how dirty this car is. So yeah, I would definitely suggest shock covers, but as to which shock covers, I would just use socks. I think these are a bit too, they take too much abuse, if you get what I mean, because they're so fat. The fronts have got holes in them, so they're, these covers are knackered. As I said, they've done their job. I've had them on there for, we're in February now. I would say maybe 5-6 months. Maybe no, 5. Yeah, maybe 5 months I've had them on. They've done their job. Gearing. So let's talk about the gearing. First off, standard gearing is 1854, which is fine for most users, especially on 3S if you're giving it to someone young. 4S, yeah, it's a bit wild. But this car, I would say, shines for both 3 and 4S on 20/50 gearing. It just hands down it does. I'm on a Max 6, which I'll get to in a second, but I would say that is the perfect gearing. It doesn't get too hot, yet it's still quick enough to have fun with both cells, 3S and 4S batteries. Problem I've had with my gearing, I've got a leaf in there as well. The problem I've had with my gearing is that the standard gearing tends to strip and shatter really easy. In my last video I had the HPI hardened pinion on here and the hardened GDS spur, and I still managed to shred it in a jump, but that had been in there for a long time. So the other gearing I've had is 22/50, and whilst it is quick, it's punchy, it does sap your battery, and it does tend to overheat the motor. So I will be doing another video soon on temperature gun, experimenting on having fans, not having fans, and also doing thermal paste between the motor and the heatsink to make a perfect sort of heat transfer. So that will be interesting to try when I get my heat gun. So the gearing on the X-Maxx, standard gearing, don't really jump it. Don't put it through abuse because it will shred it. If you want to do any of that, I would at least harden one of them, and I would preferably go for the pinion. Get the hardened pinion. Maybe pinion. You could do spur or just do both. They do suggest if you do both your pinion and your spur gear to not use the Traxxas meshing because it doesn't really sit right. It's a bit tight. But depending on how you use your car, if it's a bit tight, you can literally wear it in. It takes about 3 or 4 packs and straight runs, and you should be able to bed it in a bit better than it being a bit tight, but that comes down to you using control. If you're the kind of person that just wants to slap your batteries in and take off, then I would suggest you just not use the Traxxas mounts for your gearing. That's the way your motor should sit. Castle fans is the next thing. These Castle fans, I'm not overly impressed by them. They are far cheaper than the standard ones, so they are a good alternate to your Traxxas fans if you do shred them. These are the Castle 2028s, I think it is. They're not bad, but I would dare say the fans are more flimsy, which can be a good or bad thing again. So for 13 quid versus the 26 or 30 quid, however much Traxxas want for theirs, it's, I guess, a good mod. So we'll find out in one of my future videos. The next thing is the Max 6. As you can see in there, very dirty. Again, something else I need to clean. Very dirty in there. That has been really good. Compared to my old ESC, I experienced on 4S snagging. So I'd be driving along and then the car would just sort of snag instantly. Just for a split second. My first run video that's on my YouTube channel, I ended up snapping my like the rod for the 4-wheel drive at the bottom. I managed to snap that. It was really aggressive, that ESC, yet not very fast. It was, I just didn't like it. The Traxxas ESC is, in my opinion, really bad. So if you want to know how I've stuck this in, I've got it's like basically it's Velcro. So one half is the fluffy side of the Velcro, which I think is the one that's stuck to the chassis of the car, and the one on the bottom of this ESC is the one with the sharp grabby side of the Velcro, and that is literally in there. It's got a bit of movement, which you can see, which is good, because when it does jumps and gets knocked about, you don't want that taking shunts if you can help it. Basically the Velcro I've got in here for my button switch is exactly the same. It's the same Velcro. So there you go. That's what's on there. Exactly the same way, I think. But yeah, just makes life a lot easier. I can just turn that on, turn it off. Other mods, I think that might be it. I mean, I've had to replace a fair few bits, but I've stuck to standard because having flex isn't a bad thing. Having no flex means something's going to bend. So I opted to stick to plastic and not go nuts modding other parts. I do have a light kit on my roll cage, which on the weekend did take a bit of a beating, and I think I might have broke it. So possibly, not sure with that. But yeah, like I say, after my run, I haven't done anything with the car. It's literally covered in mud from my last run. So, but yeah, that's my mods. In future, I would hopefully, I'm hoping that the temperature's lower without the fans. If it is lower without the fans and just with the compound, it will be coming off, because I do not like the castle fan. It does not sit in this housing very well. It's very rubbish. So I've not had it on here long. I've been on here with what, 2 runs with this castle fan, and I'm not interested in it at all. Take these batteries out and put them on charge, I think. But that's my mods. I will try and show you underneath of this car. Let me get the batteries out. And I will try my best to show you how I've done my straps. I'm not the only one. I think my other mate's also got the same setup with his batteries. It's a much more convenient way if you want to put huge batteries in this car, I think. Ah, it's so bad. So muddy. Alright, so I'm not going to pick the whole car up, I'm just going to pivot it. It's about C, so basically it's been cut. Basically I cut through the chassis in order to get these velcros through. It's a really good mod, I think, because it just gives you the option to hold your batteries in another way, and it has taken a beating down here. I mean, these are still good. The rest of the car's covered in mud, but yeah, they're still good. Aside from that, I think the next thing I need to do is just go around and clean up all my bearings, because as I said, these Prolines throw more mud than usual up at this car. Just something to be mindful of if you're looking to buy yourself some Proline tyres. I think the originals are better. I've still had to drill 4 holes in these tyres in order to keep them from exploding. They don't expand as much, but they cause problems elsewhere. I think I'd rather my tyres just explode than ruining all my bearings. Yeah, so as I said, this car is quite heavily modded. I've done a lot of work to it. It obviously never stops. So if I do any more in future, I'll do another video on it, but that is as far as I've got. If you have any other questions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer you if I can, depending on what mods you're doing.